Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 229. And last week I talked about giving people grace and all this other stuff, right? But you also have to know when that grace is expired. Meaning expired, like not meaning that it's over or that the situation is what it is. But sometimes when you keep giving grace and you keep doing X, Y, and Z, the same issues will always keep popping up. Anybody who knows me, I'm big on behavior. I'm big on discipline. And if those two things are lacking, then I don't care what you are. Like it's not gonna work between us. Um, and the more and more I talk about it, a lot of guys I know, like we've all been through the same thing, similar situation, right? And like you start looking around, you're like, and it wasn't until I had a big brother conversation with one of the guys that I've known for like 15 years. And when I say big brother, the dude's old enough to be my dad if he wanted to be my dad, bro. And he called me the other day, so we're talking, and he had actually helped me. He's done, like, he's a general contractor and whatnot too. So like that's how long I've known him. It's like he's done favors for me, for people that people that I know, and he's anyway. So me and him are talking, and we're talking on some life shit. We're talking on some on some serious life shit, right? And I'm asking him, man, how's the wife, how's the kids? Cause that's how long I've known this guy. Put it this way, like I remember when his kids were in elementary and middle school, and now they're all adults. And he told me something I'll never forget, and I'll probably carry it into my next relationship. Yeah. He said, man, I was wondering when you was gonna wake up. I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, I was wondering when you was when when you was gonna wake up. And I didn't get mad. I didn't get defensive. I just asked him, what you mean by that? He's like, bro, like what you took on was a lot, man. You know, what you took on was, not too many people would want to do that. And in that situation, is true. I think a lot of times when you don't know how to be by yourself, and not just me, I'm talking in general. When you don't know how to be by yourself, and you don't know how to sit with yourself and understand what you're going through, you have a tendency just to hop into any situation and not realize how detrimentally bad that really is. Because if you do that, excuse me, if you hop from situation to situation, or relationship to relationship, or situation to situationship, all you're doing is creating havoc. You're not healing. You're running from your hurt, and you're just overall you're making the process a lot more difficult than it has to be. And on top of that too, you're actually hurting more people than you realize. And when I say my next relationship, because yeah, I'm single, what's also sad about this situation, man, is like you can try, and you just have to know when it's not gonna work. And like that's the bad part, because it's like when you end up in a situation and you see all the red flags, you see everything else, you see the issues, and and then you're like, nah, okay, like maybe this is brand new, and it's like, this other person doesn't know how to be in a healthy relationship and all this other stuff, right? And it's true. A lot of it, is true. But when you continuously self-sabotage and you fuck up something that's great, for a lack of better words. After a while, you have nobody to blame but yourself. I've had people tell me in their relationships, a lot of these are close friends. They're like, oh yeah, yeah, X, Y, and Z, yada, yada, yada. They're like, well, growth hasn't happened on that side, on that person's side for us to grow together. It's like, yo, if you're not growing together, you're growing apart. Like, how many times does somebody have to have the conversation with you to realize that the conversation you're having is pointless? If you bring up behavior and it's dismissed, but you go like, how many times do you have to realize that you're wasting your time? And you can always get money back. You can always, get another girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. But you can't get the time back. But what you can do with that, you can take the lessons from that situation and be like, okay, this didn't work out in this situation, but how do I not avoid shit, but how do you end up not making the same mistake twice? And the same is how you avoid not making the same mistake twice is understanding that just because you have a few green flags doesn't necessarily make up for all the red flags that that are around you. It doesn't make up for the fear, the doubts, the insecurities, everything, right? It doesn't. And like I said, I'm big on behavior and discipline. There's one particular person, they would always be like, and mind you, this channel started because I was bodybuilding during COVID. So all this stuff, like she said, all this stuff, I want to do X, Y, and Z, boom, boom, boom. I was like, okay, that's cool, that's great, but you got to put in some actual work, right? If you commit to this thing, you got, you have to be 110% in. And right now, it's like you're going through so much that it's not even worth you even entertaining this, right? And I'm not gonna put, this person's, business on in the street like that, but it's like, I'm also gonna be real with them too. It's like, like you want to make sure that every time you do this, that you're bringing the best package possible. And I said, there's going to be days where you don't want to get up and do the cardio. There's going to be days where you're just running on fumes. There's going to be days when it's like, you feel like the world is crashing in. But you know what? Nobody made you sign up for this. Like, there's going to be days where you second guess yourself. Because even the most confident guys do that, like, we second guess ourselves, like, we not underestimate ourselves, but we just end up thinking like, damn, it can't be that difficult, can't be that hard, and in reality, it is, man. It's like, the longest I've ever been on prep was 52 weeks, a whole fucking year. I did 3 shows that year. No, 2 shows, my bad, 2 shows. And it's like, don't get me wrong, competitive bodybuilding, not for everybody. Bodybuilding for everybody. And there's a difference between being a competitive bodybuilder and just being a bodybuilder. A bodybuilder is somebody, who goes in to the gym, creates that mind to muscle connection, and tries to get, into his or her best shape of their life, right? Competitive bodybuilder, we're different. And when I say we, because I'm a former competitive bodybuilder, we're different because we take it to the extreme. We monitor what we eat, how much we eat, how often we eat. We monitor what goes on to the food. We cut out alcohol, we do X, Y, and Z. I remember my first show, my very first show, there was a group of guys, just like 6 of us doing the show. And week by week, everybody slowly dropped out, except for me and this dude. And I remember this one guy said, and I'll never forget it. He said, "Hey, coach," because we all had the same posing coach, and we all had the same posing coach, and he wrote our diets. And he goes, "Hey, coach, can I drink on prep?" Coach is like, "Yeah, you can do what you want, but just remember, the guy next to you, possibly these guys in his gym who are doing the same show as you, they're not drinking. They're not doing X, Y, and Z. They're not out there chasing girls. They're not out there they're not out there going to strip clubs." I'm not saying that you can't do that, because you can, but it shouldn't be a weekly thing, you know? And right then and there, it dawned on me. It's like, yo, like this is gonna require all your discipline and all your mental fortitude and all your confidence to get this, to get this done. And I was one placing away from placing in the top 10, So, and I think that's the most important thing, man. It's like people don't realize how much this shit takes, how much it drains you. Like I remember having mood swings like crazy, like 1 minute I'm fucking chilling, I'm whatever, next minute snap of the finger, like somebody says something and boom, right? And that's why when I was doing a prep, I wasn't talking to nobody, or I wasn't sleeping with nobody. I damn sure wasn't in a relationship with nobody, because a lot of people love to see us on stage, like they love the ripped muscles, the six pack, everything looking good, but there's a lot that goes into that, man. And it's like, and when I say in the beginning, I'm big on discipline and behavior. Competitive bodybuilding will test that, and I think a lot of people don't understand how much that shit will get tested. It's like I've seen people get divorced because bodybuilders are cheating on their wives. Or it's not even a dude. Sometimes it's not even a dude. It's it's the girlfriend, it's the wives doing this shit. And it's like, I was talking to a IBB judge that I know. Meet her, hella cool. And she said, so we was talking the other day, and I said, man, it's like, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's like, you can't stop people from doing what they want to do. If people want to cheat, they're gonna cheat. If people want to do X, Y, and Z, they're gonna they're gonna do that. Me myself, I've never cheated on anybody. I've never willingly broke up a relationship or broke up a happy home or whatever it is, because I'm not that dude. I'm not gonna sabotage something and because I believe in karma too. Karma always comes back, and it always manifests in a way, right? And it's gonna happen to you when you least expect it to. And when I said that, I was like, yeah, it's like people think that they can stop other people from cheating, and you can't. It's like you can't stop somebody from doing what they want to do. It's like, no. And when it comes down, and again, I'm circling back to behavior and discipline. It takes a lot of discipline not to think with your dick. It takes a lot of discipline to change your behavior. And sometimes when you bring your behavior to other people and they dismiss it, or they make it about you, or whatever it is, right? You also have to make the tough choices, like, okay, like, yo, how long am I gonna stay in this situation? Because what we're doing is not conducive to what I want. It's like that show Grownish, right? I don't know. I've never watched the show. I've just seen clips. And I've seen enough clips to know that girl Zoe and that dude that she's always stringing along is like, everybody wants to blame her, but in reality, it's like, yo, it's your fault too, And I seen this one clip last night where she talked about being a side piece, and I'm like, how can you be the side piece when you was never the main? It's like you just wanted attention from a dude with you because you know, you just wanted him to be around. You never wanted him the same way he wanted you, but you just wanted him to be around. And what he said last night in the clip made sense. He's like, well, she's like, well, after she said, well, I'm the side piece, and he was like, no, he's like, you're just Zoe. You're the girl that comes in and out of my life, messes with my head, does X, Y, and Z, and now you're mad because somebody else has my attention. And it's crazy because in the top of the caption it says point of view when somebody brings your behavior to you and you play victim, and they have victim in quotation marks. So with that being said, yeah, a lot of people will play victim. You know, they will bring you will bring how they act towards you to them, and then they want to be like, what do you mean? What do you mean what I mean? It's like, yo, I'm telling you. Like, how you not figure this out? Like, how do you not figure this out? Because it's like, if somebody's telling you something, bro, it's best that you listen, you know? If somebody's bringing your behavior to you, and they're telling you how it affects you, and you don't take heed of that, after a while, the person's going to stop talking to you. Or they're going to do what I do. They'll, you know, I keep receipts. And I will tell them point blank to their face, you know, whether on a phone call or in person, yo, you doing X, Y, and Z. And I have to walk away from this situation because of this. I can't be with somebody who just doesn't see what they're doing. You know? Who doesn't see the impact of how they carry themselves affects other people. And that's true. And if you don't see how your behavior impacts other people, then you're never ever gonna grow. It's like when you're spiraling out of control, and even your friends are telling you to stop. You know, when you're spiraling out of control because of the situation that you can't control, when the people around you tell you to stop, that's how you know it's bad. When the people around you don't pick up your phone calls or don't return your DMs or, you know, or your text messages, that's how you know it's bad. It's like, I was telling a homegirl of mine, is like, you know, and she's like, well, like, I'm looking for a different perspective. I was like, no, you're not. You're looking for another person to vent to your problems because you want to play the victim role. And it's got to the point where nobody wants to hear it because it's you, you know. It's like when when old boy said in the clip when he said, like, you're the girl who, you know, who I let come back into my life, you know, turns it upside down. It's like, nobody's letting you, bro. Nobody's letting her do that except you. And the fact is that you acknowledge that says you're allowing that to happen. So you need to change your behavior. It's like when people say that, oh, I'm conditioned to think a certain way, this and this. Like, no, you're not. You're choosing to think that way. You're choosing to do X, Y, and Z. Nobody's conditioned to do anything. Because anything learned, Psychology 101, psychology is the first thing they teach us. Psychology 101, anything learned can be unlearned. I'm going to say that again. Anything learned can be unlearned. And I wish more people would do that. I wish more people would sit down with themselves, create a pros and cons list, and just become better. And because, like, there is no point for you to sit there and play the victim in every situation you in. Because after a while, majority of people are gonna have the same story with you. Oh, so you mean to tell me Everybody got the same outcome, but yet it's still everybody else's fault. You know, which is wild to me. Um, my uncle told me something once. He's like, man, he's like, sometimes it's like when people are telling you all their stories and it's everybody else's fault. Like you gotta start looking around. You gotta be like, I don't think so, because there's no way that you can be in different situations and have the same outcome. There's no way you can be in several different situations and have the same outcome. The common denominator is always the person. Another thing one of my partners told me that I'll never forget. He said, man, if somebody's always gonna left, bro, that means the problem is them. You know? And I think when you understand that and when you recognize what's going on, because I think a lot of us, we're afraid to be alone. No, we're afraid to be lonely because we don't know how to be alone. You know? And I think that's the most sad thing. Like, I can be alone and be working on my music. You know, be happy as shit, happy as a clam. I can be in a room full of people. I feel lonely as fuck. But yeah, it's like it's just stuff like that. It's like I think there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. And I think my next, well, not that I think, I know for a fact my next relationship is it's got to be better than the last one, man. And like I said, I wish her well. There's absolutely no ill will, no bad blood. I just know my worth. And when you make somebody feel like an option, when when you say hurtful shit and the person comes to you and tells you, like I did with this individual, I was like, yo, like what you told me hurt my feelings. Mind you, people will tell you if you're in a relationship with them or some sort of situation, they'll literally tell you like, hey, instead of you hiding behind the screen and sending all these subliminal shots, this and this and that, you know, why don't you come to me? Voice your concerns to me, you know, and if the issue is us or me or whatever it is, I can make changes. And it's really difficult to believe that because when you do that and then you're met with a stone wall, it's like, mom, is this cool? You know? Like, it's gonna be weird, you know, for a minute, but at the same time, it's like people want a healthy relationship. They want healthy people around them until they meet somebody who's healthy, until they meet somebody who's healed, you know, per se. And I still haven't gone to therapy for my shit, for my brother dying. It's like I'm still looking for a therapist. So it takes a minute, man. But I do lean on my friends. And I do watch certain Instagram videos and certain reels from certain people because it makes sense. And as I tell you one thing, a fucking algorithm does not miss. Algorithm does not miss. I am convinced that fucking phones are listening to us as we fucking talk. Because I was watching this one reel and the brother said, empathy without boundaries is self-abandonment. That's what his therapist told me. And he said, because they was talking about broken women, X, Y, and Z, and his therapist was like, yo, it was like you deal with all these toxic women or these traumatic women because of how your upbringing was. And I sat there and I thought about my upbringing. I'm like, damn, maybe that's why. You know? maybe that's why I'm so reluctant to let people in. And when I let people in with you, not that anything bad happens, but it's when you let people in and then things go haywire, and it's like you can't really sit, like you can't really get mad at that. Like, oh, it's cool, you know, it's all right. And I think that's it's something that a lot of people don't realize, man. It's like when you let people into your space, you have to grow with them, or you're gonna grow apart. Because like I said, like you know, like Brunson in his real, like his therapist told him, boundaries, you know, empathy without boundaries is self-abandonment. And I said this on a record where before I lose myself in you, I'm gonna subtract myself. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna come save me except me. Nobody's gonna look out for me except for Mikey. You know, maybe a few family members here and there, but other than that, man, it's like only person who's gonna come save me, who's got my back 24/7, is me. So anyway, y'all, this is about 26, 27 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping the 4Ps. Private, player, positive, pushing. I will see y'all next week, Sunday. I love y'all. And like I always say, know your worth because you better know what you are. All right, y'all. Peace. Have a good Sunday. Later.